been looking for a lamp, so that is my first stop on the back wall to see what they have. And I found one. Let's see how much it is. Oh, only $7.99. Yes, I'm gonna get this. I have been looking for many weeks at the thrift store for a tall and substantial lamp that had wonderful shapes of like circles or looking like turned wood shaped, and this totally fits the bill. But as you could see, it is filled with dust, so I am taking a disinfecting wipe and I am giving it a good clean. There's only one thing wrong that I could find with the lamp, and it does have a small little chip on the back side. So I'm just taking a bit of this Waverly Black chalk paint, and I'm going to lightly dab it over there to blend it in. And actually, once I started doing that, I realized it wasn't a chip, but it looks like a little dab of paint got on it. And next, I want to soften the color, so I am using this incredible finishing wax, and I will put a link to this and other supplies that I used in the description below in case you want these products. And if you do click on the links, I do earn a tiny commission. I so appreciate that. It doesn't cost you anything more, but it does allow me to be able to continue to bring you these kinds of videos. So I am going around the base, and with that special brush also in the description, and I'm just covering it with a coat of this wax. And you can see I even took the wax up the neck of the lamp. And now what I'm going to do is just buff off some of that wax. And once I do that, I go ahead and apply one more coat of that wax to make sure I've got the softened look that I like. And then I let it set overnight. And let's go ahead and see how it turned out. Oh, I just love it in the space. I love the softness of it. I love the curves. Oh, it is exactly what I wanted. And then I went to my closet and I looked for a lampshade, and I had one in my stash, and it's good to go. Now let's go back to the Goodwill for some more treasure hunting. Didn't take long before I saw these beautiful dishes, and I am looking for things to put in a hutch that I'm hoping to get someday. They said that they were bone china, and they had that beautiful swirl pattern to it. They were $3.99, but look, you can see there's a chip on one of the dishes. But then I realized it was yellow tag, which is half off today, and so 3 dishes would only be $2. So in the cart they went. Then I came across this. I thought it was so cute, but what is it? Let me know in the comments below. Then I came across this beautiful watercolor picture, and I don't know if it's a print or an original, but it is signed and dated. It was so gorgeous, I just couldn't leave it behind. I went to the Tractor Supply store to look for a bucket to put a plant in that I bought inside the house that I could do a like faux concrete finish on, and I found this big one, and it is a little bit cracked on the bottom, and so instead of $25 they gave it to me for $5. So this is what we're going to use. So these are the supplies I'm using. This is joint compound, quick setting. It sets in 20 minutes. I've got some latex gloves. I've got a bowl to put it in, some water to mix with it. This is what I'm going to use to stir it. This is a cup that I'm going to use just to put this in. And then I have, since it says it's white, and I really don't know if it is or not, and I want it to be cream, I bought a little bit of acrylic paint to mix in. This is coffee grounds and chamomile tea mixed together to just add a little bit of texture. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm taking some joint compound and I've poured a little bit of water in and I'm just stirring it together to make like a paste. So you want it thick enough so that it will stick onto your item. And then once that is mixed well, I am going to add a little bit of that acrylic paint to tint it up because it really does look white instead of cream. Now we're ready to go ahead and apply it to the planter. And so I'm just using that piece of a plastic placemat. You can use your hands, you can use anything, and applying it on. And I did put a thin coat of that onto the bottom of the planter, and that is just to strengthen where that crack was. But you've got to make sure that it is nice and level so that your planter will stay level when you turn it over. And so now I'm just moving down the sides and I'm using that scooper to apply it on there. But once I have it on there, I am smoothing it on with my hand and I'm really just applying a thin coat. So this is something that I want to allow to dry, and then I'm going to apply a second coat. Now I am making sure that I go all the way to the edge, and I'm trying to wrap over the lip and also smooth in between the little ridges that are on the planter. And I'm going to repeat that process all the way around. And by the time I had finished applying the first coat on it, it was ready for a second coat. It dried that fast. And this is how it looked once the second coat was on. And so now it is ready to put on the texture with the coffee and the tea. So I just pick some up in my hand and I am just grinding it down to make sure the tea is in small enough pieces. And then I am just patting it on to the item and I'm pushing it into that joint compound. So you've got to do this before it fully sets up so it will adhere and set inside that compound. And once I've got it pat in, I'm just taking my hands and I'm gently rubbing it in and smoothing it. And I'm just going to let it harden up and then we'll go on to the next step. It's been about an hour, and so I've come back outside and I've got a little sanding block, and all I'm doing is lightly sanding it to smooth down all of those high parts around the planter so that it will look much more like stone. And I'm doing it on the top and the inside too. Now I'm ready to bring it inside my home and put it on that little plant stand over there. I've just set it on down, and what I'm going to do is figure out which side I like the best and put that facing forward. And then I'm going to add a book to the bottom to be able to raise that plant up a bit. I've got the plant sitting on a plate so that it will catch any of the water when I water the plant. I'm setting it in there, and then what I'm going to do is take some brown paper that I have, and I'm going to put it around the sides of the pot just to make sure that it holds it nicely in place. And then I'm going to add a little bit of leftover burlap that I have onto the top, just so that it looks so pleasing to the eye when you are looking down from the top. And this is how it turned out. I am in love with it. And please let me know what you think too. And now let's go on to our last high-end makeover today. And we've got these candlesticks that I got from the Goodwill bins that I shared last week. And I'm giving them a really good cleaning with a disinfecting wipe. And then I'm going to give them one coat of chalk paint. And what I'm doing is applying a second coat of this chalk paint on it into those nooks and crevices that I wasn't able to get in with the first coat. And now we're ready to put on some white finishing wax, and this is to bring out the detail that is in those candlesticks as well as soften that black color. And so I'm going to go ahead and put that on, and then I'll be wiping it off with a rag to the desired consistency that I want. I just love how these turned out, and now let's style them up.